24-foot, no-slide little Coachmen just came in here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. And I'm going to get it out of the way first of all. Call this a Handyman special. That being said, it's not the roughest I've ever seen. And it's definitely got some history. We are most certainly going to point out the good and the bad as we go through here so that you learn what it is and what it's not. And you'll quickly understand why it is the price that it is when you visit our website to see the clearly published pricing that we have on here. But it's something that isn't going to require gutting it and starting over. It's something that with a careful eye and a little bit of smart money, I think you could actually get some decent use out of and have a lot of fun with. And I think that this would be awesome for someone who wants to get a cheap motorhome to use to like do something like NASCAR races or pull a trailer to a horse trailer show or something like that. Now, one thing I do want to point out right away before we jump inside is the generator runs like a champ. The furnace runs. It does need a coach or a chassis battery. That definitely needs replaced. But this generator starts right up, runs well, air and furnace run. So it's not dead. It's rough, but it's not dead, and that's the important thing to remember here. Now, as you can hear, the air conditioner runs well, and it is blowing cold in here. I just stepped out for 1 minute and 20 seconds to record that first video segment, and it is noticeably cooler in here. So this air conditioner up here, this Dinette that's only 1 year old, is doing a great job. So again, it's not that it's dead, it's rough, but it hasn't been left out to pasture. It just spent a little time there. It's not pretty. It could probably use a decent cleaning, but at the same time, chances are, you know, like this budget and price point, you're going to find a lot of other things like this, frankly, probably in worse condition with a lot of other major system problems. Now, this is most certainly an as is, where is, how is purchase, but before you take it home, we have no problem if you're interested. We'll go out on a little test drive if that's what you need to feel comfortable. We can pull it up to the building, plug it in. You can see what works, what doesn't, and you can make decisions from there. We don't ask you to take our word for anything. Not at all. I wouldn't expect anything of that nature. So very simple, actually 1-ton chassis on this one, not even like a 450 like you'd commonly see today. One thing I did think was kind of funny. Amazingly, like all the original owner's manuals, and look at this old VHS Coachmen new owner video on here. So first of all, if you even know of anyone that knows of anyone that has a VHS tape, I guess you could see your new owner video on here. Secondly, I think it's funny that that ships with an RV that does not have a VHS player, but neither here nor there. So spinning around here, it looks like they kind of created their own little entertainment center situation up there. Well, we'll talk about that when we get outside. So the kitchenette here is pretty simple. There has been some water penetration in the kitchen area, although it doesn't look recent. Like I went to pull this window shade up and the window treatment started to kind of drop out of the wall right there. And you can see that this has been rotted out, but it's also dried out. So it's not recent. That's old. Whatever was causing that had been sealed up and it's not currently leaking. And we've had enough rain lately, I think I would know. But, you know, use your judgment on something like that. I'm not trying to oversell this thing. I'm not trying to make it seem better than it is. I just hit the generator button, by the way. What I'm trying to do here is give you an idea of what it is. Exactly what it is, and nothing more than what it is, so you can make a decision. Now, this right here is a 2-bench dinette, although the owners apparently seem to use it more like a sofa lounge with those little almost like Persian style pillows around the back of it right there. Oh, you know, anyway. So if you wanted to, you could always kick that up into a normal like booth dinette arrangement. Now back here, we've got a very common like walk-through middle bathroom motorhome arrangement. Very normal, although, you know, really, you've got a decent bathroom in this thing. I was kind of expecting more of just like a closet toilet. But overall, this segment of the bathroom is fairly well appointed with just a very, you know, simple, fully enclosed shower on the opposite side here. Looks like we got plenty of antifreeze down there. Now, apparently this was used for something of like, I don't know, maybe a mobile office or computer station or something like that. There's some leftover hardware here. And whatever you see is what you get, apparently. They put up their own little monitor, so I don't know what they did for viewing there. Now, we're going to walk on the roof of this thing at the end. And you will see very quickly, it has had a significant leak in this rear corner. These walls right here, you can see the paneling's been water damaged. A significant previous amount of water damage there. A significant previous amount of water damage on that rear wall right here. And I don't know if this is factory wall carpet, because I see the same carpet used on the floor as the walls, as the nose cap, as the bulkhead for the driver's cab area. There's a couple areas here that have that. So this RV, like I said, it's not dead. It's rough. You deserve to know what it is and what it's not. But guys, tell me how often you can find a Class C motorhome whose air works, whose engine works, whose generator works, whose furnace works, for less than $10,000. That's not an everyday find. It's not going to be perfect. I wish it was, but if it was, it'd be more than 10 grand. So the one kind of goes with the other. So as I mentioned when we first began, it does need a chassis battery right now. We had to jump start it. We actually were selling this for some folks. We dispatched a driver out who thankfully had a battery box with him, who was able to jump start it and get it here. Now, one of the very natural questions any reasonable person would ask is, what kind of disgusting cutthroat dealer are you that you're not even willing to put a new battery in it? And it has nothing to do with what we're willing to do. This is here on consignment. We don't own it. This is not our RV. Unless the owner says it's okay to do something, we can't and won't do anything to it. Now, if you look at this, you say, well, I mean, obviously I need a new battery. Maybe you could, kind of like real estate, you could say, well, I'll buy it under the condition that there's a new battery installed. There's things that we can try to figure and work out here. Again, what I'm doing is I'm telling you exactly what it is. I'm not trying to overstate what it could be or anything like that. Now, up front here, the front overhead cab has had some measure of leak at some point. Some of the roof has been redone. You'll see that when we go up top. And I can kind of see where this has sagged down a little bit right there. And I can see a little, like it's very obvious right here if I take a look at it. And you can see a little bit of stress delamination right there in that area. So it's definitely gone down the road. It's seen some use. It's seen some bumps and jumps and jolts, and it's seen some lack of care and maintenance. But it's also seen a little bit of care and maintenance in somewhat recent years as well. Amazingly, the tires don't look bad. I expected the tires were going to be dry rotted like bombs, but they look okay. So you already heard that generator running, but just another quick look at that. It was running the air and everything very nicely. A quick look at those tires. Again, I don't see harsh weathering, dry rotting. I see good tread on them. The tires don't look bad. I've seen a lot worse tires on things before. So this rear corner right here, it's hard to see on camera. And this is one of the benefits of working with us and shopping with Haylett RV, is that we shoot you straight on stuff, guys. And I've made it known that there was a problem in that rear corner. There's some delamination back there as a result. There's not much left of the roof decking, which we're going to see in a few minutes as we're going to take a walk on the roof to see this one. But there's also nice things like max air vent covers up there. So they did a couple little things here and there. I'm going to guess this is rated to tow, I don't know, 4,000, 5,000 pounds. It's hard for me to get hard specs on something of this age. You know, those kinds of things just aren't always readily available anymore. Like I said, I've seen worse. I've seen better, but it would also cost more money. So let's climb up that ladder right there. All right, so up top, it's kind of like a tale of two cities. Now this thing, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the fact that that corner has obviously suffered a pretty significant leak at some point. Now I very carefully toe tapped around here, and I mean, you can clearly see there's not a whole lot of the roof structure left under that membrane right there. So the membrane is really, it's going to puddle some water. It's probably, eventually it'll fail. Eventually any roof will fail, but it's probably okay. A lot of these seals are super questionable and definitely need some attention in the very near future. And then you see a line in the roof right here. The front half of the roof membrane has been professionally replaced. And I don't know if they put some new decking under it or what the case may be, because it's solid as a rock up there. Really, other than that back corner, the roof is very solid. Now that I've toe tapped around and I know where the bad spot is and that everything else is fine, I have no concerns with walking around. And I can see that we got the max air vent covers up here. It looks like maybe the like an antenna had been replaced at some point, probably when the roof was redone. So once again, my general feeling, what I take away from this one is that if you are I'm going to call it a handyman special. If you're a handy person, you could take care of a couple things like this. If you could do a couple of your own little roof peel and seals and whatnot, you can throw a battery in the chassis, in the cab rather, it's going to be fine. I think that this would be oh my God. If you're like a NASCAR enthusiast, you want to run to the races, you want a little race run arounder, something like this would be great. If you go to horse shows, a lot of people will tow a small bumper pull horse trailer behind a motorhome like this. That's who I think this RV would be for. Again, I don't think it's for the first timer. I think that it would be unfair to put a first timer in an RV like this, but it's your decision. My job is to educate you, not make a decision for you. I've tried to show you what this RV is and what it's not. Hopefully you appreciate that we just lay it all on the line. We tell you the good with the bad with the ugly and everything in between, because there's not a lot of places, guys, that are going to go on the roof and they're going to physically demonstrate for you in video recorded format a soft spot on the roof. But we're not everybody. We're Haylett RV, and we just try to do our business right. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.